Wow, pretty wiped out. Welcome back to the build of the RSRacecraft Skookum kit. Man, what did I leave off on? Day 7 and 8, I think, of actual build days. Yesterday was solid day 9. Today is going to be considered 10 and a half. I've got to get my stuff ready and head back down to Seattle, going to work for a couple days. So we'll call this end of day 10 and a half. Yeah, 10 and a half. I kind of slacked on the filming. I did a couple time-lapse things, but I'm kind of, one thing's kind of cool. I'm filming this spot from the seat, so obviously that is some progress. Also got the steering wheel here, so I figured I'd film from the cockpit and from my point of view and just kind of point out some of the things I did. I'll start out with the cup holder and the step. I kind of made that decision. I wanted to be able to step from the seat box up to the step and then up on the bow a little bit easier. Cut that part out and I'll show you how that all went. What's the saying? Sometimes it's better be lucky than good. Well, I think that kind of just happened. I was going to start rigging some stuff in the boat off the engine, some of the oil lines, fuel lines and stuff like that. I had there's the engine sitting over here. I had it all in the boat. There's my bucket of goodies. Put it in the boat, and then I kind of realized I really can't do any of this stuff until I have that drive line and get ready to go with that. So on to plan B. I'm gonna try to do some more finish work. I'm still trying to decide on vinyl graphics, kind of an upper side and a lower side, putting that C-deck stuff up on the bow, but I kind of am also trying to decide if I want to do a little bit of my signature Jolly Roger blue paint on there. So climb into the boat and show you how I got lucky today, and told you I was going to cut in a step. I decided to go ahead and do that because I'm gonna have very minimal gauges with that. Here's the piece that came out. It was in here like that with a hole in it in the middle. I'm not sure what that was for, if that was a for a Yamaha dash or something like that. So I was gonna just refabricate everything in there, but I took that same piece and I'm like, what if I just flipped it around? It's in the same spot, and boom, look, I got a automatic cup holder built into the step already. So all I gotta do is do the cup holder in there, fill in those sides. It should reinforce the dash. It actually might be stronger because that hole will be filled up with the cup holder. So then I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the steering in here as well, and just doing all the odds and ends that I can do without having that drive shaft. So I think I'm going to have to put probably 2 more down here. I saw another Mike, I believe, another YouTuber. He put a grab handle down here for his passenger. I kind of like that. The Skookum comes with one up here on the dash. Got that in also. TIG welded that. Turned out pretty nice. But I think it might be nice to have a side handle. I do like these nice high windows. You feel pretty secure. I mean, they're kind of mid-chest level, so I don't know, with the handles and everything, I'll see how my passengers are freaking out. One of the big projects is sitting on it right here, this seat box. I'm not exactly sure if the parts that came with the kit are, if I use them correctly or not, but this is kind of what I came up with. A hinge here, and I've used a base plate underneath the seat. Let me switch hands here. So a base plate, and these are just seats, and they came on a slider, so I had to figure away these. I think that this kit was probably built for those Razor seats or ours or whatever they are. I was trying to build a little bit more on a conscientious budget. So down in here, you can see I had to adjust those because the engine bearers were pulled in a little bit for the Kawasaki setup. But everything worked fine. And essentially this whole seat box will slide forward and aft, probably a good 4 inches or so. And then plus you got the adjustment of the seat slider. One problem with this is just the handle for the seat adjustment. If the seat is slid forward and you tilt it up, it hits. So I could cut that off, no big deal, but then it's gonna make it. But honestly, I think just, I don't think how realistic is that these are gonna be adjusted all that often anyway. I was watching some welding videos last night on fabrication techniques and learned a little thing. On a joint like this hinge here is a an edge to edge. You kind of want to make that these things are nice and square so that they don't rub when they weld up and down. So I can't remember the guy's name. Another YouTuber. He's a really good welder, really good tips and techniques. I'll think of his name here in a second. But he said, like, you tack here and you tack there. He said when you weld this part first, the outside edge, and that's going to pull that part a little bit out of square. And then when you go and weld it on the back side, that pulls harder, so it's going to essentially straighten it out. And sure enough, that's what happened. This piece here doesn't make a difference because they're both. I only actually welded that on the outside anyway. Actually, no, that's not true. I just had to grind that down to make sure that the seat sits down in there nice and flush. So there's that. Seats are in. Both seats are in. What else? Steering cable. I ran it right through the forward bulkhead and up into the bow. And let's see if we can. Here's the steering linkage. The C-Star 135 degree. So pretty happy with that. Everything is just in here loose right now, just essentially fitted. This thing you can adjust it, have it come off the left side, the right side, whatever. It suits your fancy, but this is, I like getting that cable up out of my way up there. Well, let's see, what else did we get done? The midship bulkhead is in. Got those, those are nice visible welds, so I decided to TIG those. I still got to grind the weld on the inside edge of the windscreen. And let me move my phone before I dump it on the ground. So the other thing is the engine cover is in. Put these perimeter braces around here so it has something to sit on. There's a little safety catch. I got the hinge, the weld-on hinges in. Engine is missing, obviously. Should have the shortened shaft here maybe by the time I get back from this trip. But that all sits down there nice and perfect. It's set down 1.25 inches. So that was another thing I got done. What else did I do? Let's go take a look back here. I did some kind of cleanup welds. Man, I'm trying to think because it has been a long couple days. These joints out here, I ground those flush and realized that there's not a lot of weld on the backside. From the inside of the boat, I did put weld on the backside, but not very much. And they didn't turn out very good, so I ground them down and then just put a nice TIG weld beads over the top of them. So now I know there's not going to be any issues with that. I also think I'm going to do that on this butt joint right here. Put a nice TIG weld right across that, because I know that there's not a whole lot of, I did weld from the underside in there, but there's not a whole lot of material in there. So I'm going to put a nice weld bead right on the top of that, and those will not get ground, nor will these welds on the midship bulkhead. Oh man, here's some good news. The little parts box is getting smaller and smaller, so that's always kind of a good sign of progress. But I think I'm going to sign out. I've got a 2-day trip, Friday, Saturday. I'll get back Sunday. have a buddy coming in town. Hopefully, man, I wish I knew a Kawasaki expert, because that's gonna be some doing there. Got the box of goodies there, and hey, just so everybody realize, if I'm not mistaken, is what everybody calls the water box, the muffler, or a water box and a muffler are the same thing. That's what me and another guy are assuming is the case. People refer to the water box. I'm like, it's a muffler. So I'm assuming that that's what everybody is referring to. Here's the little power plant. It's hanging here ready to get going. I just need to get that shorter drive shaft, and we will get underway. I'm setting the goal to have this thing in the water by mid to late next week. I don't see any reason that shouldn't happen. And like I said, I still have some decisions on paint versus vinyl and the HydroTurf stuff that I bought to install. So yeah, making some progress. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get the notifications when we upload more content, and let me know your thoughts on the build. I posed a question on Facebook today about welders. I'll kind of take a detour here for a second on that. I'm just running this Millermatic 212 with a Spoolmate 200 gun, and it does fine for 90% of the welds. Like here's the edge, or the corner weld from the windscreen. Like these welds are nice. They turned out pretty good because there's backing to them. But some of the other welds, like the edge to edge down here, that little welder, I mean, it doesn't control the heat very well, and it makes it super tough for edge to edge stuff, especially outer, what do they call that? Outside corner edge to edge welds are just a bear with that thing. So I've been watching some videos on the Lincoln 350 MP multi-purpose machine. I've always wanted the Miller 350. I don't really know the difference between, there's a 350P, the XMT 350. I want something pulse. I also know the Miller 255 has pulse. So I don't know what's better. I know probably the 350s are probably a little bit more industrial and heavier duty for duty cycles and stuff like that. So what I actually got some really good feedback, a lot of people welding in those mini boat forums, and I think what I'm going to try to do is see if I can rent one for my next two builds. Rent a Lincoln, build a boat, rent a Miller, build a boat, and then kind of make the decision there. I think they're probably fairly affordable for like a monthly rental, but anyway, that's what I'm thinking about doing, and I do appreciate everybody's feedback on the Facebook group on that. Actually learned quite a bit, and really good comments on there, so thanks for that. Anyway, I'm going to sign off, and I'll get this thing edited and hopefully online here in the next couple of days. Stay tuned.